Hey guys, Harrison11 back at it once again for a brand new video for you, and welcome to episode 16 of the Online Racer, Formula 1 2012 online gameplay where I talk about stuff to do with Formula 1 in general. Going off of episode 15, you guys seem to really enjoy that commentary, and in that commentary I was talking a lot about my past as a fan, talking about Schumacher, talking about me growing up with Formula 1 and that kind of dynamic. I'm trying to remember it now, trying to put, thoughts into my head and whatnot going into this one. But I wanted to focus more on that now. And, after watching Formula 1 for, about 12, 13 years now, I've seemed to have noticed that, it's not only the media that has changed the way we look at the sport. I think the way us fans have evolved over the sport, as we've gotten older and as new fans have come along. It's one of those things where I think certain drivers have also influenced how we fans look at the sport, and certain events have changed how we look at the sport as well. And I wanted to break some of that down and see what you guys thought as well, because like I said, you guys really liked it when I seem to talk about the past. So I thought, let me try and do something like this again. This might be one of two parts of what I'm thinking about, using that famous technological versus entertainment debate as well. I'm doing that commentary as well later in the week, maybe, if this one goes down well. So if you like the video, feel free to leave the like, it does really help. But anywho, something I've definitely noticed is that, like I said, growing up, when I first started getting into Formula 1, it was around 99, 2000 kind of time. And around that kind of time, I grew up as a Schumacher fan, I'm not going to lie. For those guys who didn't see episode 15, I grew up as a big Schumacher fanboy, and I can tell that a lot of people did. We all, a lot of us fans still own Ferrari caps as a result of that kind of time, and just the idea of Schumacher being this amazingly successful, cool German guy in this sparkling red Scarlet Ferrari, and he kept on winning. That was cool. It was easy to get behind, and it was very easy to like. I know I did. I know I felt for that. I know reading the comments of episode 15, a lot of you guys did too. So it's kind of glad that I wasn't alone in that way of thinking. I know guys like Mickey Motions, for example, grew up as a big Schumacher fanboy, and he still wears the Ferrari cap to this day. Nothing wrong in that. I know a couple of other guys who still own caps as a result of that. I think Game Riot had one as well. I think he told me that on Twitter one time, but I do. I still have mine in my wardrobe right now. Might wear it later. But you see what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of people put their blinkers up when it came to Schumacher as a driver, because while Schumacher, is arguably the greatest racing driver of all time, most certainly the most successful for sure. Statistically, it's proven. Just for years and years of dominance and whatnot. It's kind of weird how after he retired, or the first time anyway, it's kind of weird how we fans looked at the sport in a different light compared to how it was back then. I think maybe it's because we were younger and more naive. We ignored some of Schumacher's more controversial moments, or we were too young for that kind of thing. Because let's be real here, Schumacher as a driver was a dick. Let's be honest here. Like, the hits to Damon Hill in Australia, the dive bomb move on Jacques Villeneuve, which he tried the trick again of trying to take out another driver so he could win the championship, and it didn't work second time around, and Schumacher got banned. Not to mention the famous park job. I think it was 2006 in Monaco. It's either 06 or 07. I think it was 06 at Monaco, where famously, to ensure that he had pole position around Monaco and to stop Alonso from getting in the last flying lap in the Renault, he parked his Ferrari around the hairpin at Ras Kass. And I know a lot of people tried to make out that Schumacher would have crashed. He was just doing the right thing. And I'm like, dude, Schumacher has amazing reactions and reflexes. You don't think he could have saved that? And, instead of trying to get out of the situation, he just parked it there and got out of the car, even though the car wasn't damaged at all. It was clearly a deliberate move to stop the session early and, slow everybody else down. And I'm glad the FIA kind of realised that as well. But Schumacher's done a massive, he's done his massive share of controversial incidents. But I think as young Schumacher fans, a lot of us, I think we kind of, put our blinkers up to that kind of thing, and just try to ignore it and move along and whatnot. Then we had 2005 and 2006, the 2 years that Alonso won the World Championship. Now, a lot of people say that went down to the rule change where tyres had to last the whole race and Bridgestone runners suffered as a result. It was blatantly an FIA move to try and stop Schumacher from winning, and the reason why was because ratings were going down the can. People weren't watching Formula 1 anymore because people were getting bored of seeing Schumacher win all the time. And this is where I'm getting into it now, how us as Formula 1 fans have changed, especially casual fans that are impartial, don't support any particular driver. The evidence clearly suggests that Michael Schumacher continuing to win towards the middle of the last decade was turning fans off. I think as we Schumacher fans got older, we liked the idea of seeing somebody else win. Fernando Alonso being this young hot shot, came in, youngest driver ever to win a world championship. Then we had, I like to call the great black hope in Lewis Hamilton when he joined the sport in 2007. And 2007 was one of the most competitive seasons ever. I think that was another one of the major catalysts for change. And that season, Kimi Raikkonen won the world title by 1 point over Hamilton and Alonso. That was 1 point covering the top 3 drivers that season. Raikkonen and both McLarens, Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso. McLaren would have won the constructors that year if it wasn't that they cheated. Spygate. And Felipe Massa wasn't that far away either. Massa was only 15 points off of that as well. So that brought forward a new wave of competition in terms of a Formula 1 season. 07 we had Raikkonen, Alonso and Hamilton at the top. 2008 it was Hamilton versus Massa, a feud that would be reignited in 2011 when both of those guys weren't relevant that season. But 09 we had the rise of Brawn GP and the rise and fall, you could say, a little bit, because after the rule change they got stunted, and Red Bull started to come into play a little bit due to that rule change, I'd say. 2010 was another prime example. 2010, I remember watching the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix again from 2010 a couple of weeks ago and seeing how 4 guys could have won the World Championship on the last day. Fernando Alonso, Mark Webber, Lewis Hamilton, and the guy that nobody saw coming, Sebastian Vettel, who controlled his own destiny, won the race and won the championship. Seeing the idea of 4 guys being able to win, I think fans like that. I think it's become pretty clear that fans like to see it when titles would go around, because the ratings pop back up again. BBC's great coverage of the sport as well definitely helped when they bought the rights from ITV at the end of 2007. Or was it 2008? I think it was 08 actually. But from that point onwards, the ratings picked up again. Fans liked seeing it go around a little bit. Fans like seeing competition. And I think fans are definitely digging competition now, especially in an era where Sebastian Vettel has been the guy. Winning, he's won 3 world championships. He's well on the way to winning a 4th. Because think of it this way, he's got, I think, a 46-point lead, and the season this is the point in time where the season starts to bend towards Red Bull. They love the Asian tracks, and pardon me, and they love the Asian tracks, and they've got Singapore, Korea, India, all those tracks coming to them later in the year, and Vettel loves going around there. He's Red Bull are really strong around those kind of tracks. But if you see what I'm saying, like, Sebastian Vettel is the dominant guy, and people don't like seeing him win. Like, you don't need to try and convince me otherwise. I know my Twitter timeline. Like, watching the Belgian Grand Prix last week, my timeline was full, and I mean full, of salty Hamilton fans. I'm not saying that Hamilton's fan base is part of the problem. I'd be frustrated too if I wasn't a Vettel fan. I understand that completely. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to complain. I don't mind seeing them win, but I can also completely understand from the other standpoint of, us as casual fans wanted to see other people win and wanted to see competition, because competition makes things more interesting, for sure. Even I can't deny that, and I'm not going to begrudge other people for thinking along those lines. You know, and people are tired of seeing Vettel win all the time, and you know, it's funny because as we've grown up, the Schumacher fanboys that used to love the guy no matter what and would always get behind him despite the fact it was making the sport more boring, have completely changed their tune now in 2013, where people are tired of seeing Vettel win all the time. It's kind of weird how that thing sorts itself out, and it's even weirder because I think Vettel is less of a douche in terms of what he's done on track than what Schumacher did in his career. You know, be in the middle of team orders all the time, even though Vettel had his incident in Malaysia. You know, Schumacher was the king of team orders. He had an entire team built around him where guys like Rubens Barrichello and Felipe Massa would bend over for him, you know, on every given opportunity, kind of like Massa now with Fernando Alonso within the team. Not to mention Schumacher has deliberately caused crashes to alter championships. You know, it's crazy that when you look back on these things, we kind of gave Schumacher a pass in general, while Vettel gets the hard time for, you know, just doing his job effectively. It's crazy how things have changed and how us fans have evolved and adapted to a change in sport, you know. But hey, what do I know? I'm just one guy. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say on this, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video, for sure. And let me know what you feel. Like, do you feel the fans have changed the sport? Is it more than just social media and how us broadcasters are looking at things? Is it down to the drivers? I mean, we've come a long way from guys like Ayrton Senna, where he was deliberately crashing into Prost to win championships, to Schumacher, you know, trying to bend the rules at every given opportunity, now to Sebastian Vettel, the guy that seemingly can't be stopped. But people don't like that. But, you know, let me know what you guys have to think on the whole situation. I'd love to hear your take on everything. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys next time. Sayonara.